For the Washington Free Beacon. The big knock on Rand Paul seems to me, from Jeb Bush there, foreign policy. The world's on fire, and it seems like Rand Paul wants to retreat. Is that going to be a big problem for him?
Well, I think that is going to be an issue for him, and I think you've seen that recently. He's trying to distance himself from his father, Ron Paul, who holds a lot of these sort of fringe views, more isolationist. And you see that in articles coming out that he's trying to, Ron Paul's not going to be a big part of his campaign, because I think Rand is trying to walk a line of sort of getting support from the young people, but at the same time keeping those voters, but also getting broader appeal with the mainstream GOP that really doesn't like a lot of his father's foreign policy views.
Rand Paul, I suspect, is going to get a lot of support from young people. He's got an interesting stance on legalization of marijuana, for example. Interesting stance on NSA snooping. He doesn't like it. Gay rights. I think the man's in favor. I think these are issues that are appealing to young people. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think he does have a really big opportunity with young people. You see in the exit polls from last November that support among young people for Democrats is slipping. It's half of what it was in 2006. So he definitely has an opportunity, and speaking to these issues, as you mentioned, is the way to do that. I don't think him joining Snapchat or using campaign videos that look like Mad Men is the way to go. Young people don't want to be pandered to, but he should focus on issues that they actually care about.
What do you think are his chances? I would say of getting the nomination, I'd say slim and none. And you say?
I say exactly. The support for young people, does not go a long way, really, in getting the nomination, the GOP nomination, as you've seen with his father. He can use that support and maybe start a conversation, get the party to move a little in his favor. But at the end of the day, he needs the foreign policy support. He needs, the more mainstream Republican support. And, that's what I think voters in the GOP will be looking for.
It's a protest candidacy. Anti-establishment candidacy, but at the same time bring new people into the Republican Party to think about Rand Paul's ideas. I think that's the value of his candidacy. Not that he's going to win, but he brings new people in with new issues to think about for Republicans.
Right, and we have a huge, pool of Republicans have a huge pool of people in this, race. It's one of the most competitive since probably 1980. There's a lot of opportunity for different, ideas and different figures. They're not all going to win, but they want to get their voice out and change the direction of the party. Are
they going to tear each other to pieces? I mean, we're a long way from that election, a long way from the actual nomination. Is it going to be divisive, and is it going to hurt the GOP that there are so many good candidates in there mixing it up?
I mean, I think that's the fear that some people have when you saw in 2012 all the candidates really going after each other and beating each other up. Some people thought that Romney was a little, bruised from that. But, you'll have to wait and see. It's a matter of, it's a good vetting process for the general election. The Republicans have to, get the dirt on each other because they know the Democrats will use it on them. So it's really a good process, but there's fears of some, GOP voters that people go too far and they'll be too bruised in the general election.
But it didn't stop Barack Obama in 2008 after a very bruising fight with Hillary Clinton. I've got 20 seconds. I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you have a favored candidate?
Well, I think it's interesting. I see, Rand and Ted. I see Rand and Ted Cruz going for the anti-establishment and Jeb Bush. I think the middle ground is Scott Walker, who's kind of forming those. So I would think he would be the one that can bring those two camps together.
Excellent. Liz, thank you very much indeed for joining us. I'm sorry, I didn't mean
I was getting
pulling it out of you. You got there. Thanks very much indeed, Liz Harrington. We appreciate